Hey friends, so you may be wondering, what's this well here? Well, I'll tell you. So, it's kind of hard sometimes to place biblical events or really important stories where they actually happened, and there's so much that happened in this place right here. So, this well is the one that Abraham actually used. This is original, and we also have on this side here the gates that Samuel's sons walked through in 1 Samuel 8 verses 1 through 2, and beneath that line is actually the original stone that's there. So again, this well is original. It's the one that Abraham used. It's very deep. It's about 6 seconds if you drop a stone to go all the way down, and the till is a little bit higher than it was, but it's the same one that was used. So, a few things that went on here. In Genesis 21, where Hagar and Ishmael were sent off, Beersheva meaning well, and covenant. So this is a place that the covenant was made at the well. And this is the first place that the word worship was used, to make oneself small before God, which is what we're about to talk about with Genesis 22. And in Genesis 22, a lot of us know the story of Abraham and Isaac, how Abraham was willing to even sacrifice his son. And this was a common thing throughout the current context, which was child sacrifices, which is horrible and detestable. And God was changing that narrative and saying, this isn't going to be a part of how I run things. This isn't going to be a part of my tradition. And so when Abraham led his son Isaac out there, a few really significant things happened. First of all, when he was being led up there, the sacrifices were often made with burning. And so the wood that was cut, Isaac, he carried up the wood up the mountain to be sacrificed, just as Christ carried up the wood of his cross up the hill to be sacrificed. And he did so willingly, and he was bound, just as Jesus was bound. And it wasn't as if he couldn't get away from this or just was forced into it, because he was a young man. Abraham wasn't exactly a spry young guy at the time, and he was willingly sacrificed. Just as Jesus, he could have called legions of angels, he could have come down off the cross, but he stayed on it because he had a mission and he was doing the Father's will. The journey up the mountain ended up taking 3 days to get up to Mount Moriah, and this is the first place in the Bible that we see the 3-day narrative take place. And he was rescued, right? Isaac was the son that was to be sacrificed, yet he came back from the dead because God offered the ram. He offered something else in his place, right? Forensic justification, the same way that something else was offered. Christ offered himself in our place where that sacrifice was supposed to happen. And chronologically, Abraham was about as far away from Jesus' time as we are from Jesus' time today. And so he was waiting for the Savior to come, just as we are also waiting for the Savior to come back.